believe it's almost always misattributed to Maya Angelou. Our deepest fear is that we're not inadequate. You follow me? Okay, so I'm going to pull it up and I'm going to read it for you. I need you to get out your phone and look it up as well because we're going to refer to this together. If you're beating me to it, that is great. Anybody have it yet? Yes, sorry, did I kill the vibe with the technology? Okay. This will get good, I promise. Okay, is it? Okay, our deepest fear, listen up, our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. And if you're already rolling your eyes, stay with me, because this is not going to go the way that you think. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine as children do. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is written within us. It's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. I'm not telling you anything new. You've probably seen this on some memes or on the internet. All I want you to do is take a couple minutes and think about that quote. The quote makes me think of, I think I have a little bit of an asymmetrical reaction to that, but I'll talk about my opinion later. I want you to think about, for 4 to 6 minutes, what comes up for you when you read that. Do you relate to it? Are you thankful for this quote? Do you see this around you maybe? Just take a moment, and it's okay to talk to other people. All right, what came up?
Being able to accept a compliment without shunning it.
Okay.
Saying out loud, maybe if you don't want to talk too much about what you're doing or what how you're feeling, it sounds like gloating or bragging, but instead it's an invitation to share and to actually be open up.
Yeah. Be worse so other people feel comfortable. Right. What else? Anybody else?
We had a little.
There's no wrong answer, right answer. Yeah.
So I think that the quote itself is meant to be inspiring, but the way that and we kind of all agree on this, right? The way that I see it used is usually a glaring insecurity that people are trying to cover up as this pseudo confidence. Like, well, no, I'm doing this because I'm shining brightly, and that it's actually that they're very insecure about what they're saying, trying to justify
Mm-hmm.
that this is what they should be doing. So I think that the intent behind that quote, whoever said it, is, do you and be you as much as you can
Yeah.
without fail, but it tends to be used to justify insecurities.
Yeah, it gets kind of weird. For me, it gets weird too. There's one more over here. A couple more.
So, what's interesting, the book that comes from, Marian Williamson, talks about being, so where you express this from is from like the sun. Like if you think of like God as the sun and we are extensions for the beams. We like to live out at the tips of the beams where we feel separate and distinct from everyone else. But if you can like travel back to that centeredness, like Carl was saying over here, the ego is the axis that gives you the power to do that and to make decisions and to act from like a sense of connected self to other people and acknowledging that same thing in them. So it doesn't come off as self-serving or egotistical, but it's more of a greater connection. So that's what
The end is interesting with the connection. I really like the end. I think maybe what you're feeling and what I'm eventually going to get at is I hate it. I don't like where the quote is thrown around, but the end is really interesting, and it talks about access. Your expression at the highest level gives access and permission to other people. I do like that part. Was there one other person? Yeah. We'll take it.
I kind of went, oh shit, I better get going.
Yeah. That's good. I feel that too. I feel like every single morning I wake up. How old am I now? I'm 31 now. I have 70 years of I'm killing it, right? And I feel like we got to get moving, right? We got to get going, all right? So that's a good little takeaway. The reason why I don't like it is some of the reasons that you're getting to. It feels like, I'll say this. The intention is great. It's actually an observation of a truth that I don't like. Okay, so what I'm going to talk to you guys today about, which is awesome because Lindsay said, hey, come talk at the BIRTHFIT Summit. I'm like, I'm in. She's like, whatever you want to talk about. I'm like, all right. We're not talking about birth. All right. What we're going to talk about today is what I'm going to call the total human effort. So Carl kind of, that's right, buddy. And I get to follow up Carl Powley. So what planet are we on that I get a chance to do that? All right. So we're going to talk about the total human effort. And everybody has paper out, right? And I want you to use that paper right now. You're going to draw a big arc at the top of your page, like a big giant arc at the top of your page. And you're going to label that arc peak potential. That arc represents your best humanly possible self. That's super esoteric at this point, but that's just what that's going to mean. And then I want you to draw another arc below it, or maybe it's like an inch below it, same size, whatever, just an inch below it. And this is reality. This is who you actually are. Notice where it is. It is below the other arc. Okay. And I'm not projecting this on you. That my arc looks the same as your arc. Okay, we are all operating below our peak expression. All right, you got that labeled there? The space between those two arcs is, I feel like I've been trying to figure out that space since I can remember, since I was 8 years old. And I don't really know what else is important in life. You can layer over whatever you want. There's some reference to God and religion in the quote that we just read together. I have no interest in making this religious, but if you want to layer over whatever religion you have, chances are it will follow this same model, right? The top thing would be like Christ-like in Christianity. You are then below that. Your effort is to bridge the gap, fail a bunch of times in between, and learn the lessons thereafter. Pick a religion, put it over that. So what I'm saying is that this is the most important thing that we have to figure out on our time here. We don't have time. We got to get down to it, right? Bridging the gap, closing the distance between those two spaces. I'm going to throw out a quick little qualifier here. I am not qualified to speak on the subject in the same way that Carl felt maybe a little bit unqualified to speak at the BIRTHFIT thing, but we're all trying. And I think that's the only reason why I can be up here talking about it is because I am trying in the same way that you are trying. Some of you. Okay? And I know people personally in this room, everybody needs to hear what I'm saying, but I know personally people in this room that need to hear what I'm saying. Because what we're going to talk about is very challenging. It's the most challenging. It's the reason why long quotes like the one we just read are meaningful is because a lot of people are blowing it. And we are blowing it because closing the distance between that bottom arc and the top arc is scary. And there is something called uncertainty. On this planet, with these bodies playing the rules of the game that we are all living in, there is one certainty, and that is uncertainty. That sounds pretty airy-fairy, but think about it really quick. Nothing is certain. Nobody can figure it out, not even the stock traders, not even the, they make movies about it, going back in time. We cannot predict with perfect accuracy the future because there are forces outside of us that are acting on us. This is just the rules of the game. This is how I look at bridging the gap between that bottom arc to the top arc. So the way I look at it is, and I've learned this through performance. We're going to watch some things in a second, with or without audio, and it's not going to matter, about a sports-like expression of moving from that bottom arc as close as humanly possible to the top arc. I would call this the meaning of life. That pursuit of that as the meaning of life. And athletes, Carl knows this, many of you may know this, at the highest levels learn a lesson really quickly, is there are some forces, some things, some variables that are in your control. And then there are some that are not in your control. Okay? I played a horrible, horrible sport called baseball where you just strike out all the time and it's just horrible and you train your whole life and you just fail a bunch. You know, you hear the examples, you're a legend. Literally, your face is in bronze and you are a legend, immortal. You never die. You go in the Hall of Fame if you fall flat on your face 70% of the time. That's the cliche example, right? And it's true. What you learn in environments like this that turn up the burners on what gets you close to that top arc is this list. And I want you to, we're going to do a funny exercise together because you remember it if it's funny. And on the left-hand side of your page, you're going to list all of the things that are in your control. And on the right-hand side of the page, you're going to list all the things that are outside of your control. And we're not going to talk about anything sexy or cool like changing the birth world or winning a gold medal. We are going to talk about, we're going to talk about getting a reservation at the fanciest restaurant in town. Take 2 more minutes. Next Thursday. You and one other person are going to try to get a reservation, and they got Michelin stars there, and you got to find a way to get a reservation. And there's going to be a list now that you're going to, and you can talk to other people. We'll do this for a couple minutes together. There's a list, and this is silly, but it's going to be important. On the left, what are the things you can control? I'll give you a hint. If you show up wearing flip-flops, you're not sitting down. On the right, there's things that you cannot control. I'm going to give you a hint. If the place is booked, you can't eat there, right? So let's make a list, and we'll give a fake prize to whoever has the longest list. So give us some people, and on the left-hand side are all the things that you can control about the situation. On the right are the things that you cannot control in order to accomplish your goal. Let's take 4 minutes. Okay, I'm seeing eyeballs. Let's just wrap it up. What do we got? Things that you can control about this fancy dinner 1 week from today. What did I say? Next Thursday. Anybody? Okay, cool. Yeah, you can. If you can be flexible, right? If you have the option to be flexible, you can maybe offer up some other times. Make your schedule more flexible. That improves your chances. What else? Call. Heck yeah. Do a reservation. Yeah. Maybe you show up in a fancy car and like they're like, I don't know this person, but they pulled up in like the Uber Black Plus. Okay. What else? Communication skills. So you go to like ITT Tech for like 9 days and just go for it. You're speaking clearly, enunciation. I like it. That's aggressive. I like it. Okay, what else? Your demeanor. Yeah, on the phone. Hi. I enjoy fine dining. Very experienced, actually. You might know Chef so-and-so down the road who you Googled. Yeah, I'm here. What else? What? Ooh. She's going deep. Athlete deal. Yeah. Oh, no, we can't get you until 10. Okay. I can deal with 10. Your reaction to some adversity or whatever information you get. Okay, what else? Yeah, just call every day. Change your voice. Do an impersonation every time. This is aggressive. I like it. Let's switch over to the other list. Tell you what, the other list is powerful. These are the external forces that you cannot control. Doesn't matter who you are, where you're from. You can't control them. What are some things you cannot control? The weather. Blizzard that they have in some places, not here, will maybe prevent you from going. What else?
Traffic.
The prices. You can't ball that hard. Yeah, you're out. Woo! Tasting menu's expensive. What else? Traffic. You leave on time. You allow yourself time. I did my best to be, and you're late for the show. That's out of your control. What else? Right, the maitre d'. Is that person? Probably a jerk. It's part of the job. Okay. So real. Will you even be here? We gotta hustle, right? Because we don't even know. Okay. You might get smoked by a bus tomorrow. It's getting heavy. No, it's going there. Okay, so we didn't mention, and it was one of my clues, but you can call this place 1,000 times, and if they don't have seats for you, you're not eating at the place. Doesn't matter what your goals are, how passionate you are about the thing, you're not eating there, right? So this is a silly example, but I hope because it was silly, you will remember this thing. And if you've never operated at a really high level, that sounds rude if I say that, but I've operated at a high level once before, and this is something that you learn very quickly, or you don't perform at a high level, is that any amount of effort, attention, energy spent on that right-hand column, look at that column, we got blizzards, we have traffic, we have other people eating at this restaurant. Any effort spent over there is what? That's one less minute, ounce of energy, one less calorie that you can devote to the things that are in your control. Okay, and gold medals are won, and worlds are changed, revolutions are led by focusing on the things that you can control. Now, even though that's kind of maybe a little emotional and inspiring, a lot of people still choose to give up their best self. Not only is there space between the bottom arc and the top arc, they're saying, I don't know about that top arc, because now what? I got to be vulnerable, I got to try hard. Because of these external forces, I might not even get the reservation. I'm going to put on my fanciest outfit and walk in the door and maybe get turned away. So what do we start doing if we're scared, like the quote was trying to tell us about? We start buying insurance. How do you buy insurance for yourself to prevent that poor feeling we have that there is space between the bottom arc and the top arc? You set lower, you change the goal. We are going to go, honey, to Outback Steakhouse, and it's good. It's real good. And I know we can get a table, right? You start changing the goal. I don't want my chiropractic practice to go out there and me make a claim and look like a fool. I don't want to try my hardest and then lose, because then people know I tried my hardest, and then that might mean something about me. So we start buying insurance. We start hedging our bets so that we feel safer. And this is a natural human reaction. We've evolved to feel safe and comfortable. But the way I look at it is bridging this gap. It goes back to those two lists. There's something that we can control and something we cannot control. And what I'm telling you right now is that this total human effort is the only chance in hell you have to get to know that top arc. Does anybody know something called Pascal's wager? Pascal's wager? Maybe it was like ring a bell from old philosophy class. Anybody remember this? So it's a French philosopher who came up with this idea and said, hey, look, we don't really know if there's a God or not. We're not sure, but any logical person would live their life, they would bet that there is a God. Because if I'm right, cha-ching, heaven, I'm in. If I'm wrong, doesn't matter, right? You are good to go either way. That to me looks like putting all your eggs in that basket on the left. What are the things I can control? The non-religious, high-performance version of Pascal's wager is the total human effort. If you're going to be vulnerable and send it, go for it. Your best effort, regardless of dealing with failure, being vulnerable, dealing with your insecurities, is your only chance to see that top arc. Now, it doesn't guarantee that you will be there. So I want to meet two people right now, and I'm not even worried if we can't see this, because I'll just tell you to Google it later. I'll use my words to describe what's on here, but we're going to try video number one. Before you click it, What's this guy's name? We're looking at the weightlifter. Yeah, Matthias Steiner. Maybe you've seen this video. It's famous, and it's maybe cliche. But in 2008, this is a German weightlifter. He is he's in his 20s. I believe he's 28 years old. He married his wife 2 years prior. She was a year younger than him. And he's at the Olympics, okay? And so obviously we can assume a couple things. He's devoted his entire life, made every decision considering, will this make my clean and jerk go higher or my snatch go higher, right? He's operating as close as he can to that top arc. And he told his wife when they got married that I will win a gold medal one day. I will win a gold medal one day. Two years prior to this Olympic Games, his wife was killed in a car accident. Okay, see, so he's 28 years old now. He's younger than I am. And the situation is really interesting because he's actually not the favorite. At the time that you're watching this video, potentially, or maybe I'll just describe it to you because we might not be able to see it. He is guaranteed a bronze medal. And he has one more lift. He missed his previous lift. Still earned himself good enough for bronze. There's another lifter from Latvia who's the favorite, who he must beat for the gold medal. Based on this individual from Latvia, he has to put on exactly, notes, 258 kilos on the bar. For the Americans, this is 567.6 pounds. The numbers are all going to be crazy because we're in the Olympics, but let me tell you the most important bit of information is this is exactly 10 kilos greater than his personal best in training, in competition, anywhere. That's 22.2 pounds. That's right. That's 22.2 pounds heavier than he's ever lifted in his whole life. I wrote a blog the other day that was hilarious because it took me 3 years to put 2 pounds on my jerk, right? If you've lifted weights at any point, you realize that as your training age gets greater, your jumps get smaller. A 10-kilo PR does not exist for Olympians. It is not a thing. It's not in the cards. There's literally no such thing. So he has to walk out there, and before we play the video and or I describe the video, let's consider what is happening here. If you ever lifted weights, especially a 1 rep max, how far does hedging your bets go? How far does even addressing uncertainty or things that you can't control, like how heavy it's going to feel, who's in the crowd, who's watching you, what the outcome is going to be? That does not serve you. It does not serve him. He can spend no time thinking about this. He has only one chance to see what the top of that curve looks like, and it is the total human effort. So we're going to try to play this thing. Is it playable? That's right. We're going to try to play it, and if you cannot see what I'm talking about, I'll just describe it to you. But I cry every time I watch this. And the audio is crazy as well. I don't think there will be audio. Let's see what happens. See if you can squint. Oh, sweet. I can kind of see it. Can you see it? Even stand up if you can't see it. I don't know. Uncertainty out of the roof right here. That's him holding a picture of his wife. Okay. You can pause it. All right, so that's the easy one. That's the easy one. We're going to meet one more person. But sorry. That's the easy one because it's inspirational and it's the goosebump type story. You should watch it again later with your undivided attention and headphones and whatnot. But you could tell by the reaction that this is someone who is operating, thank God, operating towards the top of that peak expression. Thank God there's people that are willing to go there. So we're going to watch one more. That makes me cry every time, too. There's a little window behind there, if you can see it. Before you play it, let me tell this story. All right, while he's looking, we may be able to see it. This is Derek Redmond. This is another famous one. This is in Barcelona in 1992. Derek Redmond is the British national champion in the 400. He has the national record in the 400. So very similar but different story. This is someone who, sports provide a great environment for you to close the gap between that bottom arc and the top arc. He is searching every single day at the highest level possible to find out his peak expression in this particular event. This is the semifinals in Barcelona, and what makes this interesting is his career is riddled with some injuries. He's had some success. He's a national champion, but no Olympic gold. The previous Olympics in 1988, he disqualified himself 90 seconds before his last heat with an Achilles injury. He had 8 total surgeries over the course of his career before this event. And you know that at the Olympic level, you don't have so many cracks at this thing. So here's someone who is coming like Matthias up to his stage. There are some things he can control and some things he cannot control. He can choose to understand that he has some injuries and some things going on, and he can play it safe. But what happens when you play it safe? One thing is for certain. You may feel good for a minute, but you have no chance of seeing that top arc. Do we have this guy up there? Okay, we'll see if we can see it, and if we can't, I will use my words. All right? So let's take a look. What happens? Oh, yeah, it's pretty good. It will become obvious who is who. This is Derek's dad. And there's like half a dozen security guards that beg him not to finish the race. You know, and I these videos, like, they come up in my life just like they probably come up in your life randomly, and I'm obsessed with these types of individuals. And so I've watched a bunch of interviews with Derek, and what's interesting is this is the harder part. Same scenario, two individuals trying to see what that top arc looks like. And one is like the movie, the Disney movie, and the other one is like what some of us, some of you, are scared of. I listened to Derek talk about that race, and if you should watch it again, obviously. If you watch it or listen to him talk about it, he actually starts at a pace that would exceed his personal best. He went for it. And the result was not there, but this is the point, is the result is that very end is the thing that we can never control. That will never be in your control. So the way that I look at it, when we have this problem of the bottom arc and this top arc, becomes very simple now. There is a choice, but to me there is no choice. The obvious choice is to give yourself a chance. And I just showed you a video of someone who fell flat on their face. This is the last time he'll run in the Olympics. He's done. He knows what I'm talking about. Carl has walked a similar journey. And if you start to let your mind use that as justification for not giving this total human effort, let me do some ninja voodoo on you right now, because here's the deal. Imagine who Derek MFN Redmond is. What are the kinds of stories that a guy like, I don't even know if he has kids, what are the stories that a guy like Derek, the lessons that a guy like Derek tells his children? What are the interviews like that he gives? What are the things that he carries inside of him? They're actually the same exact things that Matthias Steiner, the gold medalist, carries with him. The interesting thing is it's possible in this messed up world where we can't control everything for people to be gold medalists and still play it a little bit safe. There are people that have gold medals at home, maybe not a lot of them, but there are people that have gold medals at home that don't know what Derek knows. And this has been emotional so far, but what else do we have to do? Like, my joke all the time is I can't keep a calendar. Barely even knew what time I was giving this talk. I got people visiting from the UK that I'm leaving at the gym because I don't know how to keep a calendar, and I cannot care about laundry. I just can't care about laundry. But every day I'm trying to figure out how to close that gap. And if you're going to try to convince me that there's some other point or some other thing, I cannot begin to understand that perspective. And I'm editing this book, this godforsaken book about this similar topic. And fortunately, aside from the tears and the rah-rah thing, there's some fundamental things that you have in your back pocket when you do what Derek Redmond did that are only accessible when you go for it the same way that Derek Redmond did. I'm just going to go through them quickly, and then we're going to be done so I can stop crying in front of a bunch of people. You know, my public speaking, I freaked out my whole life about public speaking. So from elementary school, we used to have to, this is a tangent. We're going for it. In elementary school, you'd have to recite poems. It's like a public speaking project. I crushed it in school, by the way, like 4.1 million, whatever. Okay? F's all the time on public speaking because I would cry in front of everybody. elementary school, middle school, high school, college, maybe a little bit. I tried to lock it up. So this is hard for me. I'm doing Derek Redmond right now. In the book, I've sort of done a lot of research on this topic, and there are some things that we know about people who are closing the gap with this total human effort. One is they understand commitment on a level that is irreplaceable. You cannot compete with the type of understanding of commitment that someone that's operating on the level that Derek Redmond is, who is what I'm calling going right. Doesn't matter. We'll call it the total human effort today. And as we know, there's a lot of different ways that commitment would benefit in your life, not just track or baseball or whatever the thing is. The second thing that happens is people that choose to max out their effort in that left-hand column have an opportunity to build a large body of deep work. Not just any kind of work, not like I'm going to log my 10,000 hours and then you give me a check. These people are invested in their work deeper than folks who are faking it could ever enroll in. Like if you want to try to open a gym, good luck competing against me. Good luck. Right? That's my new thing or whatever, right? In baseball, it was the same thing. You were going to have to bleed to out deep work me, all right? Some people were better at baseball than me, but it wasn't because of the deep work thing, right? We know that folks that accumulate a large body of deep work become masters of their craft. There's an obvious inherent value of that. So you got a individual who knows commitment on a level that cannot be replaced. You have an individual who is a master of their craft with not just any kind of work, but deep work. And the next thing goes back to this, the way we started this conversation with uncertainty. Individuals who do what Derek Redmond did are more resilient to adversity than folks who don't. Think Derek Redmond can have a tough Tuesday and just mail it in and take a knee? This dude can't unknow what it took to do that thing. He had to walk through all of the uncertainties that we all walk through, including getting silly reservations on a Thursday at a fancy restaurant. You understand very quickly how to deal with the one thing that is universal for all of us, these external forces that are out of our control. I'm almost there. The next one is people that go right, or people that act like this guy, Derek Redmond, understand peak human performance. There's a fancy word for this that I got to study in college extensively called flow. You can go down a rabbit hole of that thing, but by definition, this is where we are most capable, highest expression of your abilities with the least effort possible. Also, to bring in a little emotional bonus, the peak expression of joy. He knows joy better than you know joy. Mathematically. The last thing, and this is the kicker, because you could say, hey, Logan, I'm on board. That was sweet. Derek Redmond had a cool video, and he probably gets some sweet interviews, and maybe he even got an endorsement deal because he pulled his hamstring, but that's a lot of work to fail. That's a long way to go in your craft and not get on the podium. That's a lot of swings in the backyard to not be a Major League Baseball player right now, right? And here's the kicker, is that all those skills I just described to you, unmatched commitment, an understanding of deep work, a resilience to adversity, and the ability to tap into flow are skills that have nothing to do with their specific application. Whether you're a chiropractor, you're pole vaulting, you're a runner, you're a weightlifter, you're a baseball player, you're a gymnast, it doesn't matter. Because people who do that, people like me, people like this guy, people who go out and do that stuff, it doesn't matter anymore. I could do whatever I want. I could open an ice cream store across the street, and guess what? It's showtime, because we are going to go for it at a level that I can't unknow based on my understanding of commitment, deep work. I can work harder than any ice cream guy, right? Oh, I can't get the permits? Whatever. I struck out 1,000 times 2 years ago. Like, what do you got, right? The adversity, it doesn't matter what type of adversity it is. The connection to flow is there, and these highly transferable skills are only possible when you give a total human effort. So you have a choice. You can mail it in and play it safe and feel good, sort of. You will never know that top arc, and you won't also have these transferable skills. Or you can give yourself a chance, and I think we should give ourselves a chance. The last thing I'm going to say before we go is a quote that inspired this whole thing, this understanding of the total human effort. Phil Knight, founder of Nike, Oregon guy, observing Steve Prefontaine, who accomplished in 23 years of life what most of us won't be able to do in 100 years of life. Upon observing Steve Prefontaine run for the first time, he said this, and it stayed with me. No matter the endeavor, total human effort will win people's hearts. Everyone wants you to go for it. I've experienced this over and over in my life, and if you're scared or insecure or wanting to play it safe, there's a community of people around you, whether they tell you or not, that want to see you go for it. So I don't know how long I've been talking up here, but you have to go for it, and this is my message for you. Please give a total human effort in whatever it is that you do. I need you to. All right. Thank you.